Hi everyone, today I'm going to be answering your sleep question: how long does the 4-month sleep regression last? I'm going to talk a little bit about what the 4-month sleep regression is, the signs of it that you might see in your little ones, how long it lasts, and what we can do to help your baby through the other side of it and back to good sleep. Hi, I'm Jen. I'm Little Ones Village team leader. I'm a qualified paediatric sleep consultant and mother to Carrick and to Heather. Little Ones have helped over 200,000 families across the world with their baby sleep challenges, and we would really like to help you too. On this channel you will find a lot of information, advice and tips around baby sleep, but we also have a comprehensive online baby sleep programme. If you visit the link, it's in the description, www.little.onesco, you can find out a wealth of knowledge about our programmes there. If it's your first time here, please consider subscribing to our channel, and if you hit the little bell button, you'll be notified as and when we introduce any new videos. So let's talk about our sleep question today: how long does the 4-month sleep regression last? Well, let me tell you a little bit about what the 4-month sleep regression is. You've probably heard an awful lot about it. You've maybe got a very young baby just now and you're already thinking about the 4-month regression because there's a lot of information online about it, and it can really get you thinking. The 4-month regression, as much as it's called a regression, is actually a progression and a maturation in your little one's sleep. What that means is your baby sleep becomes exactly like what ours is as adults. Sleep cycles during the day mature to between 30 and 45 minutes, and sleep cycles overnight become too hourly. Sleep during this regression also totally loses its instinctive nature. So that sort of drive that your baby had before the regression that said, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep, and I'm going to keep on sleeping because I'm still tired, that's gone. So when we lose the instinctive nature of sleep, what does that mean? It means that the act of falling asleep and staying asleep very much becomes a learned behaviour. That brings me to what might the signs of the 4-month sleep regression be. So with all this maturation in sleep and sleep cycles shortening, the first sign that you might see of your baby entering the regression is catnapping. So during the day, falling asleep and waking up quite shortly afterwards, not being able to get back to sleep and needing your help to do so. Overnight, your baby's first sleep cycle is 45 minutes. So you might see awake 45 minutes after falling asleep at bedtime, and then after that, you will see 2 early wakes. Probably worth saying here that your baby's deepest sleep, and you might already know this from having watched some of our other videos, your baby's deepest sleep is between 7 o'clock and 12 midnight. So even for some babies that are going through the 4-month regression, you might see a really sound sleep between 7 o'clock and midnight, and the 2 early wakes happen after that. Another sign of the regression is early waking. This is usually just down to the fact that your baby's waking up too early from midnight, and when they get to around 5-6 o'clock, they'll be coming into their last too early sleep cycle. And at that point in the morning, it can be really hard to get them back to sleep. Totally normal for them to start waking early. It's just difficult for you to help them back to sleep. And that's just because their sleep pressure is now really, really low, and their melatonin, which helps them stay asleep, that sleep hormone that we talk about quite often, is now completely worn off. To answer the question about how long the 4-month sleep regression lasts, well, it lasts until your little one can self-settle. And the reason for that is because when a baby doesn't know how to fall asleep independently, they don't know how to get back to sleep. And the same rule applies for the end of all of these sleep cycles. So the end of the sleep cycles during the day and the end of the sleep cycles during the night. So what can we do to help them? Well, we can guide them to self-settling, but there are some easy things you can put in place. You can make a checklist here, and if you can check off all these boxes, then the next thing to do is work on self-settling. So you want to encourage and promote good positive sleep associations for your baby. And what might be those sleep associations? Well, to encourage really good sleep, we want a very dark room for sleep. This does 2 things. It stops your baby being really stimulated by everything within their room. And as you know, the older they get, the more curious they are. They want to see things, hear things, play with things. So The darker the room for sleep, the better. Totally unstimulating environment. And also a dark room helps your baby produce that sleep hormone melatonin that I mentioned earlier on. That's the hormone that helps them fall asleep and stay asleep. We also want to think about white noise. Again, this does two things. It mimics the noise that they were familiar with in the womb. So white noise for a baby can actually be extremely comforting. And as a positive sleep association, it can signal that it's time for sleep. What white noise also does is acts as a really good blocker. So if you have a noisy house like I do, other children playing, running about, you're doing your housework, maybe your partner's at home working from home as well, the white noise in the room will stop any external noises from waking your little one up. A sleeping bag is a great cue for sleep. So when your baby's in the routine of getting their sleeping bag on, they're going into their dark room, the white noise is on, this is another good positive sleep association. And a sleeping bag will also help them stay nice and cosy, because obviously we don't want blankets and loose things in their bed. If your baby's not rolling and it's safe to do so, a swaddle is also a really good sleep association, and that will stop, certainly in younger babies, the startle reflex with their hands flailing that can wake them up soon after they've fallen asleep. And it can help them stay asleep because they won't startle between their sleep cycles. What we also want to ensure is that your baby is perfectly ready for sleep when they go to sleep, because it's really difficult to settle a baby that's undertired. It's really difficult to settle a baby that's overtired. So by following an age-appropriate nap patterns, which you'll find in our programmes, you can ensure that your little one is perfectly ready for sleep, and that will make them falling asleep a little bit easier. We also want to ensure, of course, that they're feeding really well during the day so that they're not hungry before their nap time, and we want the majority of their nutrition within their 12-hour day so that we can minimise waking overnight for feeds. Perfectly natural for your baby to wake for a feed overnight though. Absolutely, it can be the case right up to 8 months that your baby might wake for 1 or 2 feeds overnight, while milk is still the priority nutrition for them. So we've covered positive sleep associations, we've got the room perfect for sleep, we've got the awake times right so we know that they're ready for sleep, we've got hunger ruled out because they're feeding really well during the day. Over 6 months, if your little one's ready, they'll be eating solids too, that's great. It's maybe worth me mentioning here too that the 4-month regression, although we call it the 4-month regression, sometimes can happen much earlier or much later. So if you see signs of the 4-month regression, like we've just spoken about, waking up, catnapping where they didn't before, more frustrated going to sleep, waking too early overnight, it could be that your little one's in the 4-month regression a little earlier. Or if your little one can already self-settle off to sleep, there might well be a chance that you're going to sail through the 4-month regression and you don't even notice it. So the key thing really, when you've got all of these other things checked off your list, is self-settling. When your baby can't self-settle, they can't link their sleep cycles. So we want to work on their ability to fall asleep in their beds independently, and we can do that nice and gently. The best way to guide them to self-settling is to think about what their current sleep association is and just start to reduce that. So if your baby is fed to sleep, held and rocked to sleep, then gradually reduce the amount that you're doing of that before you pop them into bed off to sleep. Once your little one is self-settling, then if they are still waking during the day and they're still waking overnight too early, it's time to adopt the same sort of method that you did during the day for their overnight wakes as well. It's totally normal and absolutely natural for your baby to take a wee bit longer to learn to link their sleep cycles. So if they're self-settling really well during the day and they're still waking too early overnight, don't worry about it, but it's time to start working on the overnight wakes in the same way that you did the start of their sleep. Something else that is worth me touching on here is pacifiers and dummies, because these are actually parent-led sleep associations, and what that means is that until your baby is able to seek, find and pop the dummy back in their mouth themselves, you need to do that for them. Most babies post 6 months will have the cognitive development to be able to learn to search about, find it and pop it in their mouths, and after that point you'll probably find that things are much easier if they are using a dummy. Up until they can do that, you'll need to replace the dummy for them. So if they're waking during their naps and they're waking during the night too early, they need their dummy, their sleep association, to get back to sleep. If you really are struggling with the too early weeks and your little one has a dummy, it's maybe worthwhile thinking about getting rid of them. We've got a blog on our website on how to remove pacifiers, and you can take a little look at that. I've popped the link in the description below for this as well to help you. So to just refresh everything then that we spoke about there, we want to set up positive sleep associations for your little one. We want to make sure that all their ducks are in a row to promote good sleep. Have really high expectations of your little one because they can do it with your help. But the way out the other side of the regression and to get to the end of the 4-month sleep regression is to guide your little one to self-settling. So if it's something that they're not able to do just now, then you want to work on that, and their overnight sleep and their naps during the day will really improve. So the 4-month sleep regression lasts until your little one is able to settle off to sleep themselves without your help. I hope you found this video today informative. If you would like any more information on the 4-month sleep regression, I've stuck some more links in the description below for you that you can click on. They'll take you directly to our website and the blogs within. And of course, if you would like help with your little one's sleep, please do consider subscribing to our baby sleep programme, and that's on our website as well. I hope you've really enjoyed this. Please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and like I mentioned at the start, if you hit the little bell button, you'll be informed of all of the new videos when we publish them here online. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon.